Sorry, but your daughter's medical equipment might make things awkward for everyone at Thanksgiving, my mother-in-law, Patricia, said on the phone, her voice dripping with feigned concern. You understand, right? We want everything to be flawless this year with the investors coming. I looked at my 7-year-old daughter, Emma, sitting at her little table, absorbed in her drawing, with her portable oxygen concentrator quietly humming beside her. This same equipment, which had kept her alive since her premature birth, was now apparently an eyesore for Patricia's social ambitions. Flawless, I repeated, trying to keep my voice calm despite the rising anger. You mean pretending Emma doesn't exist? Don't make this dramatic, Olivia, Patricia sighed. Of course we love Emma. It's just, appearances matter. Michael's investors will be there with their families. We can't have them distracted by medical equipment during dinner. I watched Emma as she carefully added purple strokes to her drawing, her dark curls falling over her face as she focused. She looked just like her grandmother, Elizabeth, Patricia's late mother-in-law, with the same determined chin and creative spirit. What does James think about this? I asked, thinking of my husband, who was on a business trip. James agrees, Patricia said quickly. He understands how important this dinner is for the family business. I doubted that. James had always put Emma first. He had spent countless nights in the NICU with me, learning all her medical needs without hesitation. But recently, with the pressure of taking over his father's company, he had become distant and more willing to give in to Patricia's demands. I'll talk to James about it myself, I said firmly. Don't trouble him with this, dear. He's so busy with a merger, Patricia said in that condescending tone I couldn't stand. Just stay home with Emma. Have your own little celebration. It's probably better for her anyway, less overwhelming. After hanging up, I sat at my desk, hands trembling with suppressed rage. 6 years of enduring Patricia's subtle rejections, her backhanded remarks, and her constant efforts to hide Emma from her social circle. But this was blatant rejection. My phone buzzed with a text from James. Mom told me about Thanksgiving. Maybe she's right. Emma does get tired at big events. We can celebrate together when I get back. I stared at the text, feeling a break inside me. This wasn't the man I married, the one who had stood by me in the NICU, who had learned every detail of Emma's care without complaint. Mommy, look. Emma's voice broke my thoughts. She held up her drawing. A family of bears having a picnic. It's us having Thanksgiving. I forced a smile, fighting back tears. It's beautiful, sweetheart. What Emma didn't know was that I had spent the morning with Elizabeth's lawyer, Mr. Sullivan. 2 weeks before her passing, Elizabeth had called me to her house while Emma was at school. Patricia is showing her true colors more and more, Elizabeth had said, her voice weak but sharp as ever. James is too blinded by his ambition to see it, but I see everything. She handed me a thick envelope. Give this to Sullivan after I'm gone. And Olivia, when the time comes, don't let them know you were prepared. That envelope contained documents that would turn Patricia's carefully crafted world upside down. Elizabeth, it turned out, had owned the majority shares in the family company, shares everyone assumed would go to James. She had also owned the family estate where Patricia hosted her precious social events. Mr. Sullivan had confirmed it that morning. Everything's in order, he had said, just as Elizabeth planned. The will reading is scheduled for the day after Thanksgiving. I looked at Emma, still focused on her drawing, unaware of the family drama unfolding around her. Patricia thought she was pulling off the perfect Thanksgiving, impressing investors with her curated family image. She had no idea that her perfect dinner would be one of the last she'd host in that house. Another text from James buzzed in. Mom's really stressed about the investors. Let's not rock the boat right now. I didn't respond. Instead, I walked over to Emma and knelt beside her. How about we make our own special Thanksgiving? Just the two of us. Her face lit up. Can we have pizza? We can have anything you want, I said, pulling her into a gentle hug, careful not to disturb her oxygen line. I glanced at Patricia's latest social media post, preparing for the perfect family Thanksgiving. So thankful for our healthy, beautiful family. #blessed. I smiled to myself, thinking of the documents safely in Mr. Sullivan's office. Sometimes, the best response to cruelty isn't a direct confrontation, it's patience. Patricia would soon learn that lesson. Emma pulled away from the hug, her eyes serious. Will Daddy be sad he missed our pizza Thanksgiving? I think, I said carefully. Daddy will have a lot to think about after this Thanksgiving. As Emma returned to her drawing, I started making plans. Patricia wanted her perfect holiday. Fine, let her have it. But by the time the leftovers were packed away, she'd learned what really matters in a family, and it wasn't appearances. The day before Thanksgiving, Patricia's social media exploded with posts. Photos of the lavishly decorated dining room, professional catering, and her designer table settings filled my feed. Every post tagged the visiting investors and their families, boasting about family traditions and generational wealth. I muted her account and focused on Emma, who was helping me knead dough for our homemade pizza. Her oxygen tube occasionally got dusted with flour, making her giggle. These were the real moments, messy, imperfect, and full of love. Mrs. Bennet? Emma asked, referring to her favorite teacher. She said we're having a gratitude circle at school today. Can we do one too? Of course, sweetheart. I wiped flour from her cheek. What are you grateful for? My pizza chef, Mommy, she grinned, and Grandma Elizabeth's special paint set. My heart tightened. Elizabeth had given Emma that professional art set just weeks before she passed, along with hours of patient instruction. Patricia had called it a waste, saying Emma's medical issues would keep her from pursuing any artistic interests. My phone buzzed again. James, Mom's really outdone herself this year. The house looks incredible. The Hendersons are already impressed. I typed back. How's the merger going? Good. Mr. Henderson's practically guaranteed his investment. Mom was right about keeping things streamlined tomorrow. Streamlined, like Emma's medical equipment was just a business inconvenience. That evening, as Emma peacefully slept, her oxygen concentrator humming softly, I received an unexpected visit. Sarah, James's younger sister, knocked on my door, looking worried. I just got back from Mom's pre-Thanksgiving chaos, she said as she sank into my couch. It's a full-blown circus over there. But let me guess, this is about what she said about Emma. She's pretending she doesn't exist, isn't she? Sarah nodded, her eyes glistening with tears. She told the Hendersons that James doesn't have any kids. She's taken down every photo of Emma from the house. When I confronted her, she brushed it off, said it was just business and that I wouldn't understand because I'm not a mother. I recalled Elizabeth's words. Patricia wasn't hiding anymore. This was her true face. There's more, Sarah added. Mom's been boasting about inheriting Elizabeth's shares in the company. She's already promised Mr. Henderson a board seat once everything's finalized. I kept my expression calm, though inside I was practically laughing at Patricia's arrogance. That's bold, I said. I just can't wrap my head around James going along with this. The brother I knew wouldn't. People either evolve, I said softly, or they finally show you who they've been all along. Once Sarah left, I checked in on Emma. Her room was full of color, her artwork hanging proudly, just like Elizabeth insisted. Art should be seen, Elizabeth once told Patricia, pointedly, while hanging up Emma's latest masterpiece. A message lit up my phone. Mr. Sullivan, everything's ready for Friday. Elizabeth would be proud of your strength. I smiled, thinking of the last afternoon I spent with Elizabeth. She sat in her favorite chair, watching Emma paint. You know why Patricia hates the medical gear so much? She asked. It's not vanity, it's about control. Emma's condition doesn't fit her curated little world, and Patricia hates what she can't control. As I watched Emma sleep, I thought of how Patricia thrived on control, planning her flawless Thanksgiving, playing her social games like a queen on a chessboard. She had no idea the game had already been decided. Another notification appeared, Patricia's latest post. Putting final touches on our perfect holiday gathering. Carrying on Elizabeth's legacy with elegance and grace. #family tradition, #grateful. The photo? Elizabeth's cherished china cabinet now stripped of Emma's paintings and filled with polished glassware. The vibrant piece Elizabeth once placed front and center. Gone. Then my phone buzzed again. James. Mom nailed it. The investors are thrilled. You get why tomorrow needs to be flawless, right? I looked at my daughter, then at the legal papers Mr. Sullivan had handed me. Flawless is a matter of perspective. Tomorrow would be unforgettable, but not the way Patricia imagined. I turned off the lights, catching one final image on my feed. Patricia, beaming in designer couture, raising a toast with the Hendersons. So grateful for legacy and tradition. Tomorrow we celebrate our future. Legacy. If only she knew what Elizabeth's true legacy really was. Thanksgiving arrived in a stream of curated perfection on social media. Glamorous table settings, guests dressed to impress, staged family moments. Meanwhile, Emma and I spent our day making pizza, finger painting, and holding our own little gratitude circle. Then my phone buzzed with a message from Mr. Sullivan. Update from the dinner. You'll want to see Patricia's latest post. I opened Instagram to find a live video. Patricia, clearly tipsy, stood with a glass of wine in hand, addressing the crowd. We're thrilled to announce, she slurred, that Elizabeth's shares will be transferred to James next week, making the Henderson merger official. A new era for our family. Behind her, James nodded, clinking glasses with Mr. Henderson. The comment section overflowed with cheers and heart emojis. Mommy, Emma said suddenly, can we call Grandma Elizabeth's lawyer now? I blinked. What? She told me to remind you. She said when Grandma Pat makes her big speech, it'd be time. I stared at my daughter in awe. She really said that? Emma nodded seriously. She said sometimes adults forget what really matters. But you remember. With a deep breath, I called Mr. Sullivan. Within minutes, he was en route to the estate. I watched the live stream as he entered mid-toast, briefcase in hand. Pardon the interruption, his voice echoed clearly, but as Elizabeth Mitchell's executor, I must clarify some incorrect assumptions about the will. Patricia lunged toward the camera, trying to stop the feed, but someone, probably Sarah, kept it going. The shares and estate will not be going to James, Mr. Sullivan said firmly. Elizabeth's final wishes were crystal clear. All assets are held in trust for her great-granddaughter, Emma. Olivia will serve as trustee until Emma turns 25. Silence. Then Patricia's voice, sharp and disbelieving. No, that's absurd. Emma's just a little girl. She can't. She's not even. And furthermore, Mr. Sullivan continued, Elizabeth specified that the home be fully accessible for medical needs, and that part of the trust be used to establish an art therapy program for children with similar conditions, run from the estate. The video cut off, but the damage, already done. Hundreds had witnessed Patricia's carefully built world implode. My phone blew up. James, you knew? Why didn't you tell me? Patricia, you manipulated Elizabeth. This was your doing. Sarah, OMG. Anderson's just stormed out. Mom is losing it. This is better than any drama series. I silenced my phone and glanced at Emma, who was painting a new piece with quiet concentration. Grandma Elizabeth said, sometimes the best cure is letting people learn the hard way, Emma said softly. The next morning, we'd arrived at Mr. Sullivan's office for the official reading. Patricia and James were already seated, stunned and pale. As the will was read in full, including Elizabeth's handwritten letter, I watched them unravel. I leave my legacy not to those who seek perfection, Elizabeth wrote, but to those who embrace life's mess and beauty. Olivia and Emma understand what Patricia never could, that love is not about control or appearance. It's about heart. As we left the office, Emma slipped her hand into mine. Can we have pizza again tonight? I smiled, remembering Patricia's picture-perfect dinner. Absolutely. Perfect doesn't always look the way people expect. Nope, Emma agreed. Perfect is just being us. And that, I realized, was Elizabeth's real legacy. Not crystal glasses or boardroom deals, but love, acceptance, and the courage to live authentically. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Stay amazed.